YouTubers, Linda here. Okay, this is my second try making this video. I went over in the first one, uploaded the whole thing, and then it was rejected because it was like 11 minutes long. So, wanted to share with you guys, I had a really awesome experience earlier this week. I actually met Jesus. I actually saw him. And it was my first time ever. So I was really, really excited. I'm still excited about it. Today is Saturday, July 10th. It happened on Tuesday. I had just finished a 3-day fast on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday that I had done for something I was seeking God about. And this was Tuesday night late when this happened. And what happened was I had spent some time with the Lord in worship over the weekend when I was fasting, and it was just really joyful. And I wanted to do that again. And so I was sitting at my desk Tuesday night, and I was looking at the clock thinking, wow, I really should go to bed. You know, I have to get up at 5 o'clock and drive that commute. And then I was thinking, no, I really want to spend some time worshiping God tonight before I go to sleep. So I put on this one CD that I have. It's by Anna Mendez-Farrell, and it's prophetic worship, and it's called The Sound of His Voice. And the third song on there sings Holy, Holy, Holy. It's my favorite song in the whole album. It's really, really beautiful. And I was just, singing that song to God, and I had my eyes closed. And, the Bible talks about how God inhabits the praises of his people. If you praise God, he comes down into your situation. He inhabits those praises. But if you worship God, I think that if you go really deep into worship, and this particular night there was nothing else on my mind except I want to spend some time with him. I want to spend some time worshiping him tonight. There was nothing else in my mind. There was no to-do list, no, wow, what am I going to eat after I get out of church? None of that, like goes on sometimes when you're in a time of worship. And my focus was 100%, I just wanted to spend some time adoring Jesus. And so I'm singing the song, and I have my eyes closed, and all of a sudden, I wasn't here in my house. I mean, I could feel my body. I knew that it was here, and this is a kind of vision that Steve Thompson talks about in his book about the prophetic, and Rick Joyner has talked about before. The Final Quest was, I think, the same kind of vision. I forget now what it's called, but it's where you can still feel your body, but your spirit goes someplace else. And I'd never had that kind before, where I could still feel my body. Usually when I have an open vision, everything is just gone except the whole, I'm totally 100% experiencing the vision. So suddenly, I can still feel my body, and I know where my body is and what it's doing, but I'm standing in heaven. And I was in a garden. And it was really beautiful. The colors are so intense there. They are so more, they're just much more colorful. And I think it's because in heaven, nothing dies. So leaves don't fade, flowers don't fade. Everything is at its intended color. Everything's very vibrant and very, alive. And there was light, but you couldn't really tell where the light was coming from. It was just there. And I've been in this walk for 14 years, and I have begged God the entire 14 years to let me see Jesus and to let me visit heaven. Because I knew other people had, and I know God is no respecter of persons, and what he'll do for one, he'll do for another. So I've been asking for 14 years, but I had no idea it was going to happen this particular night. So I'm standing there in this garden, and I looked, and there's Jesus standing there. And he had on white robes with gold trim, and I said, I can see you. And I just began to weep in the physical. I was just weeping because, when you're in his presence, it just does that to you. I said, I can see you. I can see you. And the first thing you do is you see him. And the second thing that happens is, because his holiness is so pure, you see yourself. And you realize, like Isaiah did, that you're unclean. In his presence, we're not, we can never touch the level of purity and holiness that he has right now. Until we get our glorified bodies, and then we'll be pure and undefiled. And I hung my head because I saw that. But in heaven, you're not in the physical, and so even though I hung my head, I could still see him. And he held out his hand to me. And I looked up at him, and I looked in his eyes, and y'all, the love and the compassion that I felt when he looked at me is indescribable. There are no words on earth that I have been able to think of this entire week to describe the depth of his love for us. And all of a sudden, when I felt that, I realized so many things in the Bible that I've read have so much deeper meaning than the simple truths that they sound like when you hear them. And that's the thing about truth, you know. The biggest truths that are in the Bible are so simple. He does love us that much. He loves us with that unconditional, everlasting love. And God sent Jesus to die for us. And when you meet him, that sacrifice just becomes so much more real to you than, you know, it ever was before. And it's a simple truth, but it just changes you completely. The next morning I woke up, I was there, and I was just weeping harder and harder because I saw this, and then I came back into my body, and I came out of it. And all I could do for a long time was just weep and just thank God for allowing me to see that. And I woke up Wednesday morning, and it was the first thing I thought of, needless to say. And I thought, wow, did I imagine that? I wanted to see him for so long, and I wanted to see heaven for so long. Could I have imagined that? And I realized I could recall every single detail just as clearly as if I'd just come out of the vision. And all day long I thought about it. And it was so overwhelming. I was just like in a daze all day long Wednesday at work. I could hardly think because all I could think of was him. And I had just seen him. And I had literally stepped into the heavenly realm and actually stood before him. And it's just, it's just a life-changing thing to me. And I just wanted to make this video. And, I only told 3 or 4 people about this so far. But I wanted to share it with you guys because I am nobody. And if I can go there and see him, then you can too. And I think that the whole key of it is to clear your mind, and nothing else is in your mind or your heart but him when you go into worship. And to really be 100% seeking him. I think that's a lot of the key of it. But I wish that I could convey to you what I saw and what he's like, because he's so beautiful to look at, but at the same time he's handsome. But the serenity in that place, you don't want to leave. As soon as you step into it, you're like, okay, I don't want to go anyplace else. I just want to stay here. I just want to be with him. And nothing else matters. When you look into his eyes, everything else goes away. Nothing else matters. And you realize how minute this whole life down here is, other than whatever you can do that glorifies him. So, I've had other visits to that realm. In 1988, I had a dream vision where I went there, and I can recall it as clearly as if it just happened 5 minutes ago. I went there, and in the distance, I could see this beautiful, bright city. I wasn't saved then, with light coming out of it. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because I'm just amazed that I saw the King. I saw him. And I wasn't there for very long, and he didn't say anything to me, but he said everything with his eyes. He said everything with his eyes. And he loves us so much. And it's just so incredible. And I'm so humbled that I even got to even step into that place and just even glimpse him. And just so honored that I got to see him at all. So I just want to encourage you guys, if I can go there, you can too, because I'm nobody. So thanks for watching. You guys have a great week.